Jungwoo is the biggest anime loser you'll ever see. Everyone treats him like he's literally invisible all his life. So the only thing that kept him from kicking the bucket is solo leveling, because he's a mega simp for the Chad's son Jinwoo. But everything changed when a magical system chose him to become the McDonald's version of his hero. Now gaining the ability to turn invisible, he goes on a quest to become stronger to unlock more powers. But first he sets his eyes on everyone that treated him like absolute anime trash. It all began at work in Ocean Square, where life continues to treat him badly for liking anime. Regardless, a coworker bumps into him and John Cena's his work straight to the ground, but other coworkers act like they saw nothing and proceed to stomp on his work. He looks up and notices some large badonkodonks in front of him, so he can't tell if he should transform into a simp to admire the gyeats on them, or should he chew them out for being savages. After choosing to download the mental image of a giant bakeries to use it as content for later tonight, Bro gets up to summon his best impersonation of a Karen. The girls turn around after hearing Jungwoo yell at them. He gets scared when he gets hit by a nasty side eye, while the other looks totally disgusted. As such, Bro pipes down and says it's nothing, so now we know this dude is an absolute beta male after being unable to defend himself. With Jungwoo trying his best to recover the hours he spent on some ripped-up paperwork that's due today, he gets ganked by his team leader Miju. Surprisingly, she helps out gathering some of his documents, which shocks him, as no one has ever helped him out in his life before. She even tells him that they should have helped him out instead of making it worse, causing Jungwoo's jaw to drop, thinking that he just scored a Makima to his Denji. However, after picking everything up, she immediately orders him to drop off his work to her personal desk, even though he hasn't finished finalizing everything. Upon making it to her office, Bro hallucinates and thinks he's about to score, causing his sausage to rise up from the dead, as he's seen this in cultured anime play out before. Unfortunately for Jungwoo, the turntables turn as it's revealed that he activated the trap card of Miju, and he just got totally baited by her. And to his horror, this wasn't just a prank, bro, so she actually rips up Jungwoo's month's worth of work in front of him while calling him trash. After ripping up everything, she hands him back his work while ordering him to finish everything by tomorrow, or he's going to get his butt fired from the company. To make matters worse, Miju gives him her Christmas stockings after they suddenly get interrupted by her assistant. So Bro gets humiliated even more in front of others. Nonetheless, he angrily heads back to his desk with stockings in hand, so he furiously searches up sussy anime without using incognito, while still on company time. Eventually, night falls, and since the deadline is coming up very soon, he's forced to stay back, but Bro gives up and throws everything up into the air. He notices that Miju had to stay late as well, so like a savage, he jungle ganks her from the mid lane, while constantly berating her for treating him so badly. Bro then loses it, so he goes for revenge while looking like a total psycho, taking a page out of his favorite anime he watches every night. Luckily, this was all a dream, so Jungwoo snaps back to reality and sighs, knowing that his life will be forever suck, and there's nothing he can ever do about it. And since he spent all his money on gacha games like Genshin Impact, he goes ham on his report, knowing that if he gets fired, he will turn homeless. Fast forward to later on in the night, Bro went to grab some energy drinks, but he catches his entire team out and about, so he sneaks around to find out what's going on. Turns out, team leader Miju and his entire team always go out on team dinners every day, where they purposely leave him behind without him knowing. As he continues to eavesdrop, Jungwoo learns that Miju already revealed his secret of being an orphan to everybody, and that Miju was the sole person behind everyone treating him like trash, since she thinks he's not her equal. Suddenly, a game-like system appears and notifies him that he has awakened as an outsider class after reaching his absolute limit of disregard. The system then starts engulfing his entire body, causing him to scream, so basically it chose him for being the biggest loser around. After screaming like a girl, even though he felt no pain, he accidentally drops his drink, causing everyone nearby to divert their attention to him. However, the team investigates the noise they just heard, only to find no one nearby, even though Jungwoo is clearly right beside them. Confused as to why no one can see him, a notification appears and informs him that he is now invisible. After learning that no one can actually see him, the Fire Nation invades his brain, causing him to look like the biggest ultimate sussy Becca, with crazy thoughts running around his mind. Back at Ocean Square headquarters, we find Miju running into another team leader who's revealed to be named Song Chiwon. She seems to be super nice, so that's probably why Miju looks like she hates her and has to act super fake around Chiwon, but we all know pros never fake. Nevertheless, after Chiwon leaves the building, Miju beelines straight to Jungwoo's cubicle, but she's unable to find him, even though he's already literally right behind her. Seconds later, Jungwoo flashes the biggest smirk of his life after running around her like a monkey, making sure that he's actually invisible, so now my sussy senses have begun tingling. So instead of robbing a bank or becoming a superhero, he chooses to use his first special superpower to get close to his team leader, and we can already imagine what's going to happen next. You're exactly right. Bro uses his invisibility to use a 5-finger discount on her twin pyramids of Giza and her hidden trove at the same time like a true menace. Luckily for her though, before Jungwoo could fully transform into the Korean Kevin Bacon, Chaewon shows up after hearing some weird sounds loudly travel to the elevators downstairs, so she asks if she's okay. After making sure she's okay and that no one else is around, Chaewon suddenly interrogates her about her team's work. However, Chaewon's face disappears after asking her why she's making other people do all her work, so you already know she's about to drop the justice hammer on her. But Miju just laughs it off and tells her to mind her own business, so to teach her a lesson while mid-conversation with Chaewon, Jungwoo starts grabbing her bakeries super hard in hopes of eliciting an embarrassing response in front of another team leader. She's able to keep quiet and keep everything tighter than Iris Sama from Fire Force, but Jungwoo gets shocked after hearing Miju constantly throw him under the bus. Afterwards, Miju hurls insults after insults at Chaewon, even though the brunette only wanted to protect Jungwoo from his abusive team leader since she knows something's wrong with Miju. Eventually, Jungwoo has heard enough, so he smacks the living heck out of Miju's large double whoppers, which sends her barreling face down to the ground. Finally, she gets a taste of her own medicine, so she tears up a little after embarrassing herself in front of Chaewon. But she's unsure of what's happening, so Miju comes to the conclusion that karma has made her way around. At the same time, Chaewon begins pitying her but starts scolding her in the name of the company, unable to believe that a leader would drink so much at headquarters while she forces the youngest employee to stay late to finish her own work. In the end, Chaewon storms out, unable to fathom the true nature of Miju, so Miju is left speechless, while looking exactly like the killjoy spray my teammates' hips constantly runs into. With Chaewon now gone again, the room quickly fills with Sussy Nation mist since Jungwoo looks like he's about to unleash some forbidden jutsu on his target that he's been waiting all his life for. But since Bro is a menace, he plays around with his prey first, making Miju go crazy as she's unable to leave the room even though the doors are unlocked, so she starts to think that she actually drank way too much. Nonetheless, she continues to try and pry the door open to no avail since Jungwoo is actively stopping it from opening from the inside, causing her to break down, unable to wrap her mind around it. With her last resort, she remembers that she has the security team on speed dial, so she quickly opens her phone while trembling her boots off. However, her nightmare has just begun, so her phone gets swiped away from her hands, and then for some reason, sticky goo began appearing on her face, but it smells way too familiar for her. Seconds later, Bro rips a major fart right beside Miju without pants on, so he put a whole new meaning to deadly but silent farts. Jungwoo then proceeded to deliver a special package directly to Miju's airways, catching her by total surprise as she's busy wondering what's making her gasp for air. Usually, we get some dumb anime main characters, but just from the faces he makes and his evil smile, we already know Bro is built different. I don't think he's going to take the high road like his hero son Jinwoo. Anyways, it's hard to fight back against an invisible man, especially against one that has a grudge on you. So Miju loses her 1 versus 1 duel, allowing Jungwoo to give her a surprise milkshake. After swallowing up an entire load of invisible shakes, Miju gets up defeated, but she starts yelling at the empty room that she's reporting whoever this is to Riot Games to make sure they never play Valorant again because their aim sucks. Unfortunately for Miju, she's about to learn why you never threaten nerds and their video games because Jungwoo is about to turn her into a PlayStation and our menace is about to plug in his invisible controller. Anyways, we never click bait on this channel, so like the title and thumbnail says, Bro actually turns invisible and immediately starts clapping Miju. At this point, Jungwoo decided to pay tribute to Dragon Ball Z his own way, so he powers up over level 9000 and proceeds to land direct Kamehameha hits on Miju over and over again. Regardless, long story short, Bro began making his anime dreams come true, and for some reason, Miju can't get enough of what's going on, but me personally, if some weird things start happening, I'd quickly jump through a window or smash the door open. With Jungwoo destroying the living daylights of Miju, Jungwoo starts getting flashbacks to the time he first met his team leader. Not only was Miju the most beautiful girl on campus, making every guy have a crush on her, she also had extreme talent, allowing her to get promoted as the youngest team leader at the company. However, she was ruthless to her core, and even though she knew she was gifted with Burger King-sized proportions, she used it to her advantage to make dudes do anything she wants while keeping them all at bay since she prioritized work over everything. But back to the present, loser Jungwoo is no more since he believes himself as the king bee that's now clapping a queen that tormented him the entire time he was stuck in Team 1. So just like Snoop Dogg, he puts the dog in her snoop with no care in the world, and the crazy part in all of this is that Miju is a psycho for loving every battering ram hit, so she quickly crosses the finish line. Suddenly, after Miju hit the climax of her mountain, Bro gets surprised ganked by a game notification alerting him that the time limit for Outsider mode has been reached. Mere seconds later, mist began unraveling all over him, causing him to slowly become visible again, but luckily for Jungwoo, Meiju already passed out from her super-sensitive phase. Bro then breathes a sigh of relief after making sure she's actually knocked out cold, and since he didn't cross the finish line himself, Jungwoo decides to just head home and act like nothing ever happened. Fast forward to the next day, Jungwoo heads to work and hopes for the best that he didn't get found out, since there's going to be a Roblox update coming soon and he needs money to buy some new skins. With everyone treating him like normal, he thinks the coast is clear, but he suddenly gets ganked by Meiju, who orders him directly to her office. Unable to make eye contact with him while still wearing the exact same clothes as the night before. Shortly after privately entering her office, she quickly turns around and starts yelling obscenities at him, calling him names like bottom fragger and dough fruit spammer. It was at this very moment Bro knew he screwed up, and so his life flashes before him, busy thinking about all the great times he spent on binge watching anime and listening to New Jean's performances. So with the jig being up, he knows it's all over. Another flashback occurs to exactly 1 hour ago, where one of the team members named Hina is surprised to see Meiju up and early due to daylight savings. Hana is surprised to see Meiju wearing the exact same outfit as the day before, and to every girl out there, it's an absolute crime for wearing the same thing, especially to work. But since she's the team leader, she shuts her mouth and says nothing. After Hana turns around, Meiju begins freaking out since she just woke up after hearing Hana open the door, so her memories begin flooding back from last night. However, she's still not sure if everything was just a dream or if it actually happened, because she knows she drank a little bit before, but it's not like she went over her limit since she's a veteran after all. So back to the present. To find out the truth to what happened last night, she's decided to corner and gank the one person she thinks could be the culprit behind her crazy dream. Luckily for Jungwoo, he doesn't instantly admit to being the invisible man. Instead, he pulls off the biggest brain move of his career by turning the tables on her and acts like he has no idea by what she means. To make things even better for Jungwoo, his lies are proven right by cameras, since he's clearly seen staying back late only for him to disappear later, and there were no signs of him coming back at the same time as Chowan and Meiju. Eventually, Meiju gives up trying to interrogate him since his story totally made sense, so she lets him go and tells him that it seems like there was a misunderstanding, causing her face to be flushed with embarrassment. As such, Jungwoo excuses himself and leaves the room, but his smile tells it all. Clearly, he's super happy that he didn't get caught red-handed, so it's time for round 2.